The paper that came out of Ann Arbor in 2019 is a landmark publication.
I think it's a game changer in terms of beginning to expand our understanding of the role of endogenous DMT. What's surprising to me is, why has this been overlooked for so long?
The lead author for the paper is a young scientist straight out of Youngstown, Ohio, Dr. John Dean.
When I started my undergrad, I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to get into. I'd always enjoyed science and started to just take the prereq classes that I would need to get a bachelor's degree. Around that time, I had a very good friend of mine die, sort of unexpectedly, and that kind of sent me into a little existential era. I was prescribed just like a anti-anxiety medication. So that really was kind of profound to see the impact that taking this little pill could have on my psychology.
John reported that his prescription didn't help him process his emotions, leading to a hiatus from school so he could tour with his indie band, Asleep, who ended up performing on South by Southwest and recording with famed producer Steve Albini. He spent time teaching guitar to autistic children at Youngstown State until he rediscovered his love for science.
Then I took a chemistry course and was super into it. And it was around that time when I read Rick Strassman's book, DMT, the Spirit Molecule. That kind of got me interested in the idea of like mind over matter, matter over mind, and that sort of thing. Coming to realize that there's this compound that's floating around in humans that's relatively understudied, that is one of the most powerful psychedelics there is. The fact that something like that's floating around in our bodies, even if it's doing nothing, very intriguing. What does that mean for reality? What does that mean for how the brain works? We don't know, right?
DMT was always believed to be produced in such trace amounts that its presence was inconsequential to human consciousness. However, the 2019 publication spearheaded by John Dean and Jimo Borjigan turned this whole scientific belief on its head. There are 3 groundbreaking discoveries to this 2019 paper that John published. The first was in regards to just how much DMT is actually produced in the mammalian brain.
We actually put a probe directly into the brain of a living rat. We would directly sample the brain fluid, the dialysate, if you will, from these animals. And then we would run these on an analytical chemistry technique called high-performance liquid chromatography. And then we compared DMT and serotonin. And in that regard, what we found was, in my opinion, the heart of the study, that DMT was actually in nanomolar concentrations in the range of serotonin.
The significance of DMT being found at levels comparable to serotonin is found in just how vital serotonin is for everyday life. From sleeping, eating, and digestion to bone health and wound health, it's a natural mood stabilizer. Low levels of serotonin are associated with depression, anxiety, and insomnia, while people with normal levels report feeling happier, calmer, and more focused. DMT is also found in comparable levels to dopamine, which is released when the brain expects a reward, and in normal amounts helps with alertness, motivation, focus, happiness, and feelings of euphoria. So why is DMT swimming around in mammalian brains at levels comparable to serotonin and dopamine?
I'm really more concerned with what is DMT doing in the normal waking brain. Is it responsible for visual perception? We know that it has antidepressant properties. This has been shown in microdosing too. Those studies are intriguing because it sets up the idea that you don't necessarily need this psychedelic amount of this compound in your brain for some sort of natural effect.
This points to or indicates the possibility of the existence of a DMT neurotransmitter system. What would the role be? What is, the hallmark of the DMT experience? People, come out of it and they say that was more real than real. So there is a profound, sense of certainty and truth, which is associated with elevated brain levels of DMT. If you wanted to speculate wildly, one could argue, that the DMT neurotransmitter system mediates our sense of reality.
If it is correct that DMT mediates our sense of reality, then is reality itself a partial hallucination? Or could DMT be even more functional to our everyday waking consciousness than just psychedelic experiences?
Well, maybe we're in a simulation right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, seriously. In my mind, like the strongest argument for us being in a simulation, probably being in a simulation, I think is the following. That 40 years ago, we had Pong, like 2 rectangles and a dot. That
Right.
was what games were. Now, 40 years later, we have photorealistic 3D simulations with millions of people playing simultaneously, and it's getting better every year. And soon we'll have virtual reality, we'll have augmented reality. If you assume any rate of improvement at all, then the games will become indistinguishable from reality. We should hope that that's true, because otherwise, if civilization stops advancing, then that may be due to some calamitous event that erases civilization.
Simulation theory is nothing new. As it is presently more of a hypothesis, some scientists have linked their understanding of it directly with DMT as being the key to unlock the matrix.